Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Yay! Thank you so much for joining. Coming to you from Hawaiian beaches, specifically the Love Room in Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay! I'm so happy to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining. And please feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions or would like to communicate with me verbally on video. Yay. So, in relationship and through relationship, especially through relationship with people, relationships with inanimate objects and stuff like that too. It's just that with people, it shows our patterns a lot. It could with inanimate objects, come to think of it. I've seen that too. Goddamn door keeps banging my knee or whatever. But mostly with people because there tends to be this taking things personal. Taking things personal, whatever someone happens to be doing, and that's what I found with awakening with children, which is what my book is about. That's coming out up pretty soon. Is taking it personal is the only thing that would make any kind of behavior by someone painful to you. See, it's taking it because taking it as personal is taking it as if that's something that it's totally not. It comes back to what is it for? What is it really for? When I know the function of it, any upset is just passing through. It's not sticky. There's no sticky. There's no person to take anything personal, right? Right. So you use those feelings to show you what you're taking personal. How are you taking it personal? What kind of emotional investments did you make into it? You can say that. What kind of emotional investments did you make into the relationship? You're not automatically guaranteed because someone made an agreement with you to behave a certain way that that's how they're going to do it. But there's an emotional investment in it. There's an emotional investment in it. Don't hurt me. Like giving that the power to hurt you. Giving that thing the power to hurt you. And, the emotional investment is don't hurt me. Like I'm dependent here. Now that I made this emotional investment in this relationship with you, I'm now dependent on you. My happiness is dependent on you, and you can steal my happiness by your behavior. See the kind of pressure that puts on people? It makes it so that the illusion of conflict is upheld so that it's kind of like saying, I'm going to have conflict with you. We're going to have conflict together. We're going to be playing out some conflict. Which is basically what these agreements of relationship are, it's playing out the conflict in your mind. And in fact, that's what's attracting us to each other. If my sense of unworthiness matches your sense of unworthiness, then we're getting together. It's like these wounds attract because there's opportunities for healing through this. There's so many opportunities for healing, you know. When you choose that no fault that you see in the other or yourself can possibly be true. And you choose to know that, you know, even let's say being willing to know it, because to really know it, it's more than just words. It's like feeling that sense, that body sense, because in the dream, the dream is coming from a body sense. Dream is coming from a body sense. So the willingness is to be made aware in a very realistic way, because in the world of perception, things are realistic when they're felt. See, it makes an impact. They're realistic when they're felt. So there's upset feelings that are triggered in relationships. Upset feelings are triggered, sometimes mild, sometimes maybe just mild, like a disgruntled feeling, like, oh, how did I get stuck with them? Could have done so much better. To, oh my God, they did that? Oh, that's the worst. Doesn't matter, because there's no real distinction to be made between the upset feelings. You know, there are like divisions between them. They're all pretty much pointing to the same thing. If you don't want to know about it when it's a small kind of murmur, kind of like, wow, this is, you know, it's kind, if that gets stuffed, then it doesn't change. A change doesn't happen except through something major. It's something major, like, oh my God, really? How was I so blind? You know. But if early on, when you're just sensing, oh, how am I stuck with this? This is not even my like level of consciousness. This is not, we're not sexually compatible, whatever kind of thoughts, feelings, judgments. If you're interested in those, thoughts, then they're going to multiply. If you're interested, see? None of that stuff is relevant or necessary. So thoughts come up as if they're necessary, as if this is necessary. This is a necessary thought. The thought, you know, the ego will go, this is a necessary thought. The thought that, oh, yeah, geez, my partner, I don't know if he's like good enough for me. They're just projections. They're totally meaningless. They're good for you, they're not good for you, it doesn't matter. It's not the purpose you're coming together. The purpose you're coming together for is healing the mind. And you can say every single relationship is only for that, but the ego would have you use them as a body. And then the reason for using them as a body is so that you can make mental activity. You can use them to make this mental activity to uphold your personhood. See? The ego, you could say the ego plan is completely different for your relationship than is, you could say, God's plan, or for people that follow A Course in Miracles, the Holy Spirit's plan, you could say. The ego has a total opposite, you know, that has to do with wanting it to go a certain way, and, you know, criticism, any kind of criticism, any kind of wishing they were different, any kind of hoping they'll get better. See, That's not really relating. That's projecting. It's not really relating. So these thoughts are not necessary thoughts. They seem necessary to the ego, and the feeling that comes up with them makes them appear necessary because it seems like you're going to get a solution for that feeling by running in the mind for it. You know, taking on all kinds of different, it'll just start spiraling into all kinds of different thoughts. It'll turn into thoughts about yourself, about you're not good enough, you deserve this, you don't deserve this. So it just comes back to, who's aware of having this experience of being deserving or undeserving? Who's aware of that? Who's aware of having an experience of being deserving or undeserving? And I'm sure you guys have experienced it going back and forth, right? Yeah, I feel so deserving. I feel so undeserving. Wow. I feel so deserving again. I feel so undeserving. Well, that's, either side, it's just a passing experience. If you're not aware of who's having that experience, what's aware of the experience? If you're not aware of what's aware of the experience, then you're aware of yourself as an individual. Like taking that as if it's real. Aware of yourself as an individual, as if that's reality. If you don't know that you're just pure awareness, then you're going to take yourself as an individual. And if you take yourself as an individual, then these thoughts are going to be meaningful to you. They're going to seem meaningful to you. These thought projections that, it's just not quite right. It should be better. Maybe I'm just not good at relationships, and that's why I find myself here. There's another one. See? There's no I like that. But if the thought, maybe I'm just not good at relationships, gets you excited, like it raises some excitement because you think it's about you, then it becomes as if it's true. It gains momentum, you could say, or you can say it carries weight. It starts to carry weight. It also weighs you down because it's like you're holding it up. It's like you're holding up this heavy thing. This idea that you could possibly not be good at relationships or be good at relationships. Here's the thing. Relating is your natural essence. Relating. They're true relating, though. True relating. Basically, what we experience is relating here with two people like that, with two people. It's just an expression of the love we have for awareness, which is ourself. It's an expression of the love we have for awareness. So you could say if your love for awareness is being veiled, then the expression of your love for awareness is going to be distorted, so to speak. See? So anytime you're perceiving any conflict or like anything's gone wrong, it's really a distorted perception. That's why they say it's only your perception that needs to change, not anything else. Because when your perception is clear, you can see that it's only love. And what you think happened didn't really happen. But this is not a mental thing. And that's what I've been seeing coming up lately is, people that really, they have faith in the concept. And that's awesome. They have faith in the concept. They're like, yeah, I could feel the reality of that. I could feel the reality of it. And, it's never enough to just repeat the concept without feeling it, without really getting the visceral sensation, the body sensation of it being allowed, of it just being allowed. And, that's kind of like your your symbol, or you could say like your signal, and you can sense the love for you, the love that consciousness has for you. You could say consciousness loves awareness, will do anything for awareness. See? If you sense the love that consciousness has for you, that allows all of your fear to be dissipated. You could see through it suddenly because you can sense through it. This is all a sensory journey. I've heard it called an emotional journey. It's like it goes between love and fear, love and fear, love and fear. Swinging, the pendulum swinging. See? It's just like that. So it's like your body sense is signaling you. There isn't really a body. The body that you perceive is a demonstration of how you feel about yourself. It's a demonstration. That's all. Self-belief. And the same goes for the world. There's no separation between the two. Don't even take the physical body that you perceive and the rest of the world that you perceive and put any kind of separation between them. That's all reflecting your mind. That's all reflecting how you feel. Is how you feel is like kind of like a sounding board that projects everything, the physical body and the whole world being perceived. It's one perception. There's not really there's not really the physical body and the world. There's just the world, and the physical body that you perceive is a part of that world. It's not separate from it. So in that way, you can't step out of alignment with the whole universe. There's no way you can. It's like you're always in alignment with it because it's one thing. Like you can't make a mistake and go off in the wrong way. Say the wrong thing. That's what's fun. It's like yesterday I was telling a story and I didn't tell it the way that it really was, and it didn't seem as funny. And then it came to me. I was like, oh, I said it wrong. And I told the story again. And then it was really funny. And everyone laughed. And, I noticed that I said it wrong. So I like to notice these things. And instantly, just a sense of gratitude that it's not possible to do it wrong. That's just part of the game. It's just knowing what's part of the game and what's for real. What's part of the game and what's for real. There's a great relief, there's a relaxation, and relaxation is awareness, by the way. You sense that relaxation, that's letting more awareness in. There's a relaxation in knowing that it's not possible to say or do anything wrong. So if you don't sense that relaxation yet, say you're caught up in the dream, say you're all caught up in the game, if you don't sense that relaxation, then it just goes to, let me see. Let me see. And here's the thing, be patient, but don't wait. Listen, don't wait for the next opportunity. Take this opportunity. See, that's another one of the ego's game. So wait for the next opportunity. And all the opportunity is, all it's giving you an opportunity for is a different choice than you're used to making. Just making a different choice. Kind of like taking the other path. Taking the path that leads to joy this time. See? And it's only mentally. It's only mentally. As far as the path is. See, it's always the same when it comes to your body's reaction to what's going on in the mind. Just give it the space to play it out. Give it the space to burn itself out. Give it that space. See? And when you give it that space to burn itself out, your mind automatically gets uplifted. You can say it goes to a lighter vibration, and different thoughts are available in that lighter vibration. It doesn't matter what seems to be occurring on the surface, you can always choose the truth. And in choosing the truth, you're choosing to be uplifted. You're choosing to be uplifted. What do you mean, next opportunity? What do you mean? What do you mean? Can you talk? There's your hand. Yeah.
Don't wait till the next opportunity. What did you
Right.
mean by that?
Well, this moment is always an opportunity. This moment is always an opportunity. I mean, like right now, if you just pay attention to the body sense, you will notice that there are places where there's sort of like blocking off, um, pinching, blocking. Flow isn't, defending. If you pay attention to just the raw body sense, the energy in the body, it might take some practice to pay attention to that. I don't know if everyone notices it, but I could share with you what I noticed from paying attention to the body sense. There's all kinds of resistance that automatically comes from having a perception. The body is basically made for that. So the perception is all about separation. It's like proof that separation is true. So you could say that the body sense and the brain's interpretation of the body sense is naturally a fearful one. So there's always like you could always sense, if you pay attention, some tightening up, even organ tightening, the breath not flowing as smoothly. You could say muscles clenching, things like that, and the energy in the body not flowing, smooth and steady. And if you watch, as you have different interactions, as you think different thoughts, the energy is fluctuating, as in it's always in change, always in a change, in a sort of change. And the physical body, the body sense, and the physical body, it's all upheld by something that's constantly changing. It's beliefs, thoughts, feelings. See? It's a constantly changing thing. So the opportunity is always to see through what experience of it you're having right now.
It's changing by what thoughts are being grabbed onto.
Yes, as thoughts are taken as true or not, there's a change occurring. Whether they're taken as true or not, it's always changing. Everything's always changing. People find themselves in a rut. It's just a thought rut that makes the expression look really similar all the time, but it's really always changing.
Right, it's constantly changing.
Yeah. So it's always the now moment with the changes that are arising right now. And it's always in motion. It's always in motion. So with the changes and the fluctuations that are arising right now, in recognizing who you are as awareness, you are allowing relaxation everywhere. And it affects the breath, it affects the heartbeat, the organs, everything.
Right.
The mind affects everything. The mind affects the whole world being perceived.
Right.
But the mind is presently imprisoned. It's a prison mind. It's an imprisoned mind because the mind doesn't realize what its source is and who you are while it's veiled in this illusion.
It's not going to ever know.
Oh, well, here's the thing. There's different ways to look at it. The way I look at the mind is that it's the eternal mind. And it's only a really small part of it that doesn't know. You could say most of the mind actually knows, but but in the dream, just the dream part, you could say the dreaming part of it. Say the
Which,
mind is like this, and there's this little dreaming part of it. For
which,
the dreaming part, love isn't real. That's why we can perceive in separation. Separation is real. Love isn't real for the dreaming part of it. So that's why our function in the world becomes to restore our mind, restore that part of our mind to sanity with the whole. See, to restore that part of the mind so that the mind knows that it is a dream doesn't really exist. In the dream, as there's an experience, it seems like it exists. You could say it exists as an experience, but what's an experience? That's really not anything tangible.
right, 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 right. Just like
See?
a thought.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So basically all you are in the dream is you're aware of the dreaming experience,
right, right, right.
you know. But
Right.
yeah, as awareness, you could shed light and that's the opportunity that's arising in every moment.
Right, right, right.
And as you're shedding light, you're shedding light onto yourself. So that's rad. Or you could say you're being a light to you unto yourself because it's shining through your experience.
Right.
See?
Okay, that's cool.
So don't wait. And then the other thing that I would like to share is be patient with that reflection. You know, it's like don't be expecting all these grand results. Like I've given so much love, I should get so much back in return. It's when you stop expecting it like that you're start to go, oh wow, whoa, where's all this the love and wow, everyone's like being so sweet to me all the time, you know, because
Well,
the gift
because you,
comes. Go ahead, Lori. What'd you say?
it is because you've given it up. It's coming back. It's automatic.
Yes, it's automatic. It's automatic. And if you don't see it coming back, if you don't perceive it coming back, deny that evidence, because that's the ego giving you evidence that, look, you've done all this work, you've done all this loving, and all you're getting is bullshit in return. See,
That's the way
this
my husband
this shit doesn't work.
thinks.
What'd you
Yeah,
say?
that's the way Peter thinks.
Yes.
It's,
Okay. It's very common. It's very common. People go down this path and try it a little bit, and they're full. They're going into it like you could say greedy. I want the results. I want the results from it. I want my perception to show it back to me.
but
And
it hasn't been like that for me. It's about feeling that love just is growing. I feel it growing inside, and it's
yeah,
just being shared everywhere naturally. It's a nat.
naturally.
Yeah, it's not
And
about coming back. It's
yeah,
never.
and then I know you've shared before, and I've shared about it too. That when it comes back in these droves, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? But it's like that's why it's talking about like a childlike mind. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's not like greedy for experience. It's not greedy for experience.
Right.
It's like there's this willingness to seize the opportunity for that in that moment, for that in that moment. You could say for that experience in that moment and not trying to get something somewhere, you
Right.
know. That's what makes it so that people can't relate at all. People cannot relate at all when your mind is going toward trying to get something. Maybe this will make them do the things I want them to do.
Oh God, no, that's not authentic.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So it I see that it comes through that way of being patient, but not waiting, just taking that, not waiting for someone else to change, for, I don't know, for your next partner. It's up to you now because it's only you. And
Mm.
I've seen in my own perception, making the commitment. And I've had the experience of making the commitment to not find fault, not to find any fault. Let's say not find any fault in my partner.
Right.
Making that commitment to myself, not saying, "Hey, will you make this commitment to me with me that we do this?"
Mm.
Make that commitment to myself. Okay, that's enough of that. I keep on finding fault in my partner. I'm not going to freaking believe in that. You know, is that a
Absolutely.
commitment like that? Well, I didn't have the perception of that coming back to me for like 5 years in people time. But I wasn't looking for it either. I wasn't expecting it, wasn't looking for it. It didn't matter to me. It was it was beautiful every time I had the perception of getting it wrong, or someone perceiving that I'm getting it wrong, to address whatever it is that's arising, whatever feeling sensation upon which that perception is being made. And so you could say I would be willing to take care of that feeling. I would be willing to take care of that feeling, let it arise in intensity in my body's energy field, and not try to make it into something. That's all.
Mm.
And then once it comes, it's like, oh my goodness. It's like, wow. It's kind of like, wow, finally. But man, I was fine without that too.
Right. Without it, it didn't matter either
Didn't
way.
Yes, yes, it didn't matter. And it's like that's the kind of patience where it's like you're just being patient. The only one you're being patient with is yourself.
Right. Exactly.
The only one you're being patient with is with yourself, and then your perception will let's say will demonstrate. It will come to demonstrate. You could say how well you've loved yourself
Mm.
through all of those ups and downs that you've experienced. See?
Well, I have an experience that happened when I was in Florida. Everything was just flowing like a river. Oh my God, it was amazing. Except for one little hiccup. Is Phoebe still there?
Phoebe is here.
Can you ask her if it's okay if I talk about what happened?
She hears you. Phoebe, is it okay with you? She said Tess, which I think means yes.
Okay.
No, it's yes.
All right. So, um, we had to, we were going out to dinner. Um, and that was at the point where I was with Phoebe.
Uh-huh.
And we were going to my nephew's place where Phoebe loves to go, and she loves my nephew, Angie's son. And he was going to cook for us and everything. And my sister did not want Phoebe there. Okay, so there was something that happened before that too. That
Okay.
I said something to Holly earlier when I picked up Phoebe. I said, because I already knew that there's an issue with Angie has something against Phoebe. I don't know what it is. I didn't ask, but
Okay.
um, so I had said to Holly, I talked. I don't know. I talked to her through the message. Oh, I called her, and she had it on speakerphone. And I said, "Could you make a sandwich for Phoebe? Phoebe was starving." And I said, "We'll just tell Angie that it was for me." So, because I wasn't hungry, I said, "We'll just give it to Phoebe," because we bought a bunch of food together, and it was going to waste because everybody was going to be leaving the next day. So um, we we ended up, it didn't. So anyway, Phoebe got upset that Angie didn't want her there, and I didn't stick up for Phoebe. I didn't say, well, what is the issue here? I just kind of tried to play the, I don't know. I just didn't think Phoebe was going to take it personally. I did not think it was going to be what I just did not. Anyway, that's the first time Phoebe and I had any little kind of, and Peter was really uncomfortable. I wasn't uncomfortable. I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. And
What do you want to get to the bottom of?
I'm realizing that it wasn't personal.
Uh-huh.
None of it was, I mean, I was trying to say to Phoebe, it's Angie's issue with her has nothing to do with Phoebe. It's what's going on in her.
Okay. So whenever someone feels upset with you,
Yes.
okay, whenever someone feels upset with you, it's not personal, but it's your projection.
My projection. Okay.
Yes. Everything you perceive is your own projection. So when you go over to their mind and try to do some kind of fixing over there,
Right.
you're losing sight of how you feel in that
Right.
moment.
That's how I felt. That's, yes. I was a wreck. I was
Okay,
like,
good. So that's what needs your attention.
yeah.
When you get kind of like a sting in your body's energy field, as soon as you're aware of someone thinking you did it wrong, especially someone that you're close to, that you love, like Phoebe,
Right.
it's like she's giving you a gift. It's like she's giving you a gift with that. You said, "Here, Phoebe, read this to me. Pretend like I wronged you in this way."
Right. Okay.
And
Okay.
then she reads that to you, and you get this kind of sting in your body's energy field. That's the gift.
That's the gift.
That's the gift. It's that sting in your body's energy field.
I was,
That's what you allow to rise. That's what you just allow to rise, allow it to burn itself out, allow it to play itself out within the awareness space that you are.
instead of trying to sit down and say, what the heck is happening here right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Just
right.
let,
And because then your words and actions will come out of that feeling. You're letting that upset feeling gain in intensity and then pass away. That's what it does. It goes up and down. You let that
okay.
feeling of intensity let it gain momentum and then pass away within your body's energy field.
Right.
And then you can talk. While the energy is feeling intense, just be honest, I feel some intense energy right now.
Right.
I feel some intense energy right now, and it's like you could have some space to let that energy rise and then fall again. You can take some space if needed, let that energy rise and then fall again, and then you can come from a loving, all embracing, all accepting. So it's not like you would want to change Phoebe's perception of you doing it wrong. It's not like
Right.
you would want to change that perception, but it's coming from a loving perspective. I see you. I see why that might be upsetting. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do?
When what I did was go to the mind, which needs to fix.
It needs to fix. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that would make you feel better in your mind if
Right.
she changed her perception of you.
Right. I see. I see.
Isn't
Yeah.
it fun? See
I
how see how we dance and play together so impersonally?
Yes, I do.
But it's always such an opportunity for loving.
Yes.
You don't take it personally. You have all the power for loving. It's like you can be compassionate because you can see their side.
No.
You can see their side without any judgment, without any well, that's because you're identifying as a person or whatever, without
Right.
any judgment or anything. You could see their side. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mm.
I see how that could be painful, or something more, something that shows the compassion will come out if you've allowed the compassion for yourself. So,
Right.
so if you go to the fixing thing, it denies compassion for you,
Oh my
and
God.
then that's how it tries to relate. I say tries to relate.
Oh, that feels so much better.
But it's like you can always be grateful to each other, no matter which way it turned out. No matter which way it turned out, you could always be grateful to each other for helping each other bring those things up.
Right. Oh, definitely. That goes without saying. Yeah.
And then it allows you to be closer, you know.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. Like she's saying, I'm gonna need to face this because with Angie in my life, Phoebe is in my life too, and that's not gonna change.
Yeah,
And I
well,
don't.
and it's fun, and it's really fun, and it and don't come to any conclusions about their relationship. If you perceive them having a relationship where there's conflict, that's also in your perception. So don't come to any conclusions about it.
Right. Because we'll keep it exactly that way.
Uh-huh. That's right. Because it's also in your perception. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by, seizing the opportunity. Don't wait to seize the opportunity basically in those moments that allow compassion for yourself. Because, you're going through it. When you get hit like that and you feel that sting, you're going through it, in the dream, just in the dream. You're still only aware of someone going through it. But, that's what's asking for compassion. Basically, awareness is the same thing as compassion. So you just like let it have your awareness. Let it have your awareness. Don't pursue the thoughts about it, and it'll have your awareness. See, it's like you make a choice, one or the other.
Right. Mm.
Pursuing the thoughts is like running away from it. You get a sting, and that's like the knee jerk thing, the run thought.
Right.
How can I convince Phoebe that she's not seeing this right because she's identifying as a person?
Right. That is
It's total self total self reflection.
I'm sorry, babes.
Ah, that's so
That's
sweet.
exactly. I was like, my mind was racing, like, what the fuck? Because I've never seen Phoebe take anything personally before. I've never seen that side of her before, and I was like, what? And so of course it was going to the spiritual things that it's learned, how it can relate to. Oh my God! Instead of just feeling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have perceptions of people not practicing it according to how you think it should be practiced, but those perceptions are all for you. So, you
Right.
know, it's more like, okay, oh, thanks for letting me know.
Right.
Are you
Yeah.
okay? Is there anything I could do? How can I help?
Yeah. Right.
You
Oh
know,
my God! It seems so simple now. It
what?
seems it seems so simple
Yeah,
now.
when you're not triggered, when you're not triggered.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. That's the thing. Once the trigger is allowed to play out with you and the compassion returns, then you see the option. You
Right.
see the loving option. It's available to you. It's just not available to you in a trigger when you think you're that person in the trigger. That's why you have to get the feeling sensation in order to make this real for you.
Mm. Oh my goodness.
So
Thank
hooray!
thank
Yay
you.
for the next time you and Phoebe trigger each
I
other.
know, right? I'm
Because
ready.
you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Just so you can have that. Ah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because it's like it's awesome. It's like it's like for me, I feel eager. I feel like a
I
kid.
feel eager too. I
Yeah.
feel it. I want it to happen just so I can get that feeling and literally feel it.
Yes. Get
Feel it.
that. Yes. Get it. Let it raise. Yeah. You see when you're seeing when you're not feeling it. You're seeing where you're starting to see where you're consciously making that choice to go with thought.
Oh, totally. Totally. It was all thought too. I can
Yeah.
really it was all thought. It was because it was so different from the whole 2 weeks. This was at the end of the 2 weeks, and everything was flowing, everything was beautiful. It was all about love and
Yeah.
compassion, sharing, and all of a sudden, boom! I'm like, what the fuck?
You gotta love the contrast. You gotta
Oh,
love the contrast. And that's where you come in. That's where you come in. That's where you have an opportunity to shine really brightly, like I said, being a light onto yourself and everyone else. That's where you have those opportunities. You could say the opportunity is in every moment, and then when you get blindsided like that, that's where you start to like see, whoa, a powerful effect. You could feel a powerful effect in your body's energy field because there's such a blockage there. When you feel that sting, that's a huge blockage all of a sudden. It's like a blockage of your energy flow.
right.
So it's like boom, it's like this constriction. So when there's just like a deep breath, it comes in like fast, and it's like it feels like your energy gets uplifted really fast. So that's what the contrast is for. You get that wow, I am powerful.
Mm. Ooh, I love that.
Just any attachment to how a person is going to be. You know, people might expect me to be a certain way, and I see that go on because there is quite a contrast. Like if I follow an unhappy thought pattern and find myself upset or frustrated or something, the people who live with me notice so easily. Oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? I haven't even said anything. Oh, what's wrong? Oh,
Really?
not nothing. Is it because I'm doing this, and this? And it's like it has nothing to do with you. Nothing at all to do with you. Nothing like that. And it's as soon as that pressure is taken off, it's
Yeah.
like the whole thing, it just goes really easily. It's real easily. It's like especially in families and in situations, it may seem like you're getting triggered by a person, like they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Like say you're driving around in town and someone's doing the GPS for you, and you don't know where you're going all of a sudden because they've been in this text argument for like 10 minutes. You're like, hey, where's my navigation? you know, so you feel this sense of frustration, like they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And as soon as you recognize, oh no, that's not about you, that totally came as a projection for me, it subsides. It subsides.
Right, right.
It's just allowed to. You have to allow it to gain in intensity, on many occasions. Eventually, you don't need to. No, but to start out, allow it to gain in intensity, and then pass away. And when it passes away, you'll see.
Mm.
But if it gains in intensity, and you go this way out into the mind to find a way to cure the intensity, then you're delaying. That's what I mean by don't wait. You're delaying it for the next time.
It did not go away. No,
Yeah.
even till we talked. I mean, every once in a while it keeps popping in, and
And you feel well, good. Those charges are giving you more opportunities.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, good. Because every time you have one of those emotional charges, it's not about, there's no Phoebe, there's no circumstance like that except as a projection of your own mind. There's
Right.
no way you guys can relate except in harmony. That's real relating.
Yeah.
You can call it co-creating, which, in reality, it's co-creating. It's not manifesting separate desires.
Right, right. Is is the mind. shit.
Yeah.
I had got a bunch of edibles to
Yeah.
bring down to Florida. Did I tell you
Yes.
that?
I don't think so.
Okay. So it was a bunch of chocolates, and they had a white wrapper on them, and they had pot leaves all the way around, all the way around them. But I was
Okay.
bringing one to Phoebe and one to Angie, and I had a bunch. I had some from my nephews, and I had some fudge or whatever. And when I got the guy that I bought them from, because they're legal here in Maine, well,
Okay.
not legal in Florida, and they said the guy who I bought them from in the store here, he goes, you know that's illegal to transport them, right? And I said, because I said I was going to Florida. I said,
Yeah.
I know, but I came across from Spain with a cake with a guy when I went to that last retreat. The
What the heck?
cook made me a cake full of pots, and he gave it to me, and I transported it through customs in Spain and back in the United States, and it was fine. So I
Now,
would.
now you just said it on YouTube. All right.
So when I went, see how much I get. So
Yeah. You're scared.
I'm really scared. So, but when I went through the thing, they made me take out my stuff that I was gonna eat. Like I had a bunch of nuts and I had a Cliff Bar in my carry-on bag. But in my carry-on suitcase is where I had the actual edibles in the
Yeah.
suitcase. So
Right.
I had bought another couple of pieces of chocolate to put on either end of it before they were in the little bag, a brown paper bag, and I stuffed them in my suitcase. And so I had forgotten about them, and I said eventually before going through the screening thing, I went, "Oh shit, those chocolates are in there." Oh. So I get through the other side, and they scan my suitcase, and they go, "Something's in there." Oh, they pull it aside, and I'm watching all the thoughts go, "What the fuck? Oh my god, he's gonna open up!" And I'm letting them go, and then when they finally opened up the bag, oh my god, Holly and Ricky and I are like, "Oh shit!" And I'm going, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." And then he opened up the bag immediately, the little brown paper bag. He fanned the chocolate out like it was a deck of cards. So I
Yeah.
thought sure he's gonna see, it's a white label with pot leaves all around it. And he put them all back. He put them all back together in the bag, closed it up, and said, "Come get me your sleeping bag. Come get your bag."
That's great.
I, the thoughts were trying to bombard, and I was literally seeing them and just letting them go. They would
Uh-huh.
come back and I let them go, and they were coming back and I let them go. It was funny. It was like a
Yep.
game I
It's
was
a good game.
Yes, and we've been seeing crosses everywhere.
Yay.
Yes, and I said it to Phoebe when I first got together with her down there, and she goes, "What are you saying right now? You are not saying this right now." Because the night before,
Yeah.
she and her husband were watching a movie, and she was bored with it, so she happened to look outside,
Uh-huh.
just gazed across outside, and she saw this illuminated cross. It was like lit back, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And the next day, I'm saying the cross is to show you that this is a game, this is a dream. It's not.
Yep.
We had such a good time.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah. All right. I think it's done. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mahalo. I love you, Lori.
Love you too.
Yay.
Ah.
We'll talk soon. Phoebe said
Okay.
thank you. Thank you, Phoebes. Okay, I got a Bob Shine hand. Let's unmute Bob Shine. Yeah.
Hello?
Welcome, my love.
You can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I've been going through an intense emotional breakdown and breakthrough, and so I had sent you that Facebook message the other day. So I'd
Oh,
like
yeah,
to,
that's a wonderful message. Thank you.
right. So to start this off, I'd like to read that message.
All right, go ahead.
So I said, our guest here turned me on to some strong pot. So
There's the
this
pot thing going.
pot thing, and I have been going through an emotional release, sobbing. I've been out of touch with my feelings, living for the escape from pain and pursuit of pleasure. All the crying denied me when I was a kid. I just carry around this worthless baggage of pain and guilt and shame. I've been so out of touch, so self isolated, and disconnected from people in life, and just being a worthless weight and not giving something healthy to contribute. I feel all of my physical symptoms are just holding in repression. The dam is busted today, and I can't hold back the sobbing. I'm crying, and it feels good to cry and feel and have connection to my feeling, being. All my addictions, cravings, lusts, just trying to feel something because I'm out of touch with feeling. The tears and sobbing feel so good. Feels so good to touch back in with my internal, genuine feeling.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of the whole problem is with separation. Well, I can see where the separation is. I'm separated from myself.
Sure.
I'm
Well, you're not
isolated
really.
and alienated from myself because of the repression of the pain and suffering from my past. And it's especially pronounced with like men, because men are particularly made to repress their feelings. When I was 7 years old, my father died, and I never cried at
Okay.
his death or my funeral. And my family said, "Oh, Bobby, you're so strong. You're such a big man for not crying, and now you're the man of the house, and you have to take care of your mother and brother." So yeah, I'm reconnecting to the pain is taking me back to my past, to my childhood, to all the events and experiences to where I suffered and felt this pain, that in order to go forward in life, I had to repress it. I had to like push it down so that I could go forward, because I had no acceptance, no openness for me to be able to come out with my true, genuine feelings. My true, genuine, healthy, normal, natural self was crushed, was distorted, was denied when I was a kid. And so then I've grown up, and then I've had dysfunction with my children, with friends, physical symptoms with my body. And I'm just seeing that this basic separation is not within the world or anything, but with oneself, that we're divided within ourselves. There's the face that we present to the world that is accepted and loved, that won't be punished or whatever. And then there's the part that we have to repress and push down, because if that comes out, then we're going to be guilted, we're going to be shamed, we're going to be punished, abandoned, or rejected. So this is the topic I want to discuss.
Okay. Well, I'm hearing how the story is heavy again. And that's the thing. The story seems to get you excited. The story about how it was in the past, and there's, we talked before about how there isn't a past, you're projecting it right now. So whatever you're perceiving about the past, it is your experience right now. It's coming up in your experience right now. And so when you make that heavy and real as if it's something then these feelings of crying and stuff, they become more of an addiction than anything. See? It's like there's this crying and then there's sense of relief and then and then it comes to crying again, but not really an unwinding and undoing of what's making that perception in the first place. See? Because as long as there's a past to have conditioned you a certain way, to be holding you back right now, that's making the past real, and you cannot have it real and healed at the same time.
Yeah, but it's not just a mental memory. It's like it's deep emotional pain. It's just
Okay.
like the crying isn't due to me dwelling on my past. The crying is coming from my past. The crying is coming from all the times that I needed to cry and didn't.
Okay.
And so it's reconnecting me to my past, and I'm loving that little boy that wasn't able to cry. Now I'm able to cry those tears and feel those feelings.
Okay, perfect. That's a really awesome approach, is to be able to cry and feel those feelings. Okay, and that's gonna show you so much. That's asking your inner teacher to show you, just allowing that little boy to have that compassion. Just notice, because this is wisdom dialogues. If it wasn't wisdom dialogues, I wouldn't say it, but it is wisdom dialogues. just notice when you think that the feelings are because of the story. That's not the truth. The feeling was already there. The feeling is making the story real right now. The feeling was there before you took a birth. And then because the feeling was present in you, it manufactured an experience of parents who can do that to you.
So why did I have that where did that come from? Why was I born with that? Due to a past life where it was incomplete and I carried it over into this life, or how does that work?
You haven't been born. You haven't been born. You only thought that separation happened. You only thought that separation happened, and you didn't laugh about it. You took it seriously. So since you thought that separation happened, all these different things are manufactured in the mind, and all these different things are projected out. And that is how they're projected out. You're not this finite thing. In fact, the person that you think you are is this changing thing. It's just this fluctuation. It's a body sense again. It's a fluctuations of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. It's not anything else. It does not have a past, and you certainly don't have a past. You're projecting the past now. So as long as there is a past that you have to get healing from, you made that past real in your mind. You cannot have healing and making that real at the same time. That's what I'm saying. You may be finding some relief from that, and that's really great. That's why I said, if this wasn't wisdom dialogues, I would just leave it at that, because just getting that feeling and allowing that compassion, that's awesome. And since it's wisdom dialogues, I'm just pointing out the kind of stumbling blocks that prevent people from going all the way.
And so what would all the way be?
It would be a willingness to be aware of awareness, and not aware of yourself as this figment of your imagination. See, if you subscribe to the belief that when I was a boy, all this stuff happened to me, so now therefore this pain is buried in my body and I have to get rid of it. So in other words, if you subscribe to that belief, that will be your defense mechanism from going all the way. Taking it all the way, because you can't see yourself, you can't perceive, you can't be aware of yourself as awareness. You cannot be aware that you are awareness. At the very same time, you're aware of yourself as this individual thing. When you're aware of yourself as awareness, you're not aware of yourself as this separate individual that has a past. See? You might playfully, you might playfully play that game, but it's not as if this is heavy. Oh my God, this is heavy on me, the past. You choose whether the past is heavy, it's heavy or not. And all of what I'm saying about that right now, you could just let it all pass and just forget about it and keep on that path of allowing compassion, and you'll start to see it for yourself anyways. You don't have to take my word for it. You still with me, Bob Shine? No! Is this thing on? Is he still there? I don't think so. I don't think so. He got super quiet if he is. Anyways, we'll see if he comes back. She goes, what? What? Yeah. Who knows? That identity thing is a thing. Someone asked me the other day, what did they say? If someone doesn't show you that you're worthy for a certain amount of time, does that mean that you weren't ready for that? And I was like, well, there's not really a person to be ready. There's not really a person to be ready for it. There's not really a person to be ready for anything. That's just another way of personalizing it. Oh, well, I didn't get what I want. I must not have been ready for that. What would be ready? So if you come down to it, the person that we perceive is a collection of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. What would be ready for anything? In the same way, I don't think myself to get sad, happy, defensive, whatever. You could say I'm aware of the experience of feeling these things. I'm not even capable of feeling. Feeling is also an illusion. I'm aware of an experience of feeling these things. Then my mind making an interpretation makes that feeling mean something, and I'm aware of that too. I'm aware of a perception of an individual self. I'm not aware of myself as an individual, though. I'm not aware of myself as an individual. At the same time, I'm aware of myself as awareness. See? They see how it goes to one or the other. One or the other. You identify with yourself as an individual. You don't identify as awareness. You identify as awareness. Don't identify as an individual. Although the individual functions just fine. There's not a problem with that. Can't be both. Yes, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about trying to be both and, trying to be both, but that's the thing. That's like what Jesus said, you can't ride two horses, which, I found out on YouTube that in fact you can ride two horses, but that's not really the point. That's not what he was talking about. What he was meaning to say is that, they're like, picture them going in different directions, and you don't have today's technology. One person isn't riding two horses in different directions, and these are thought systems and goals going in completely different directions. Completely different directions. Awareness is your spirit. You identify as awareness, and basically that means being aware of yourself as awareness. as opposed to being aware of yourself as an individual in the perception. You can be perfectly aware of the individual in the perception, but not making yourself into that. And that's all, and that's not a mental thing. That's not a mental thing. It's like when you find yourself making yourself into that, there's a feeling that goes along with it. Let that feeling have its intense moment and show itself to you. That's how consciousness learns. Okay. Oh, Yulia, come on, baby. Yeah.
Hey, hey, Hope! Finally, I get to come to Wisdom Dialogues. It's been ages.
It's been ages. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, the ages are over and I'm back.
Yeah, girl.
Yes. And yeah, I wanted, let me see, how can I formulate the question that was just born suddenly? I
Okay.
want to talk about how the ego has a different agenda, right?
Yes, that's right. It's the
Of a
opposite of
relationship, everything that happens is not for what seems on the surface.
that's right.
So how does this ego thing that doesn't even exist have an agenda?
Well, you could say we made it. It's made of thought. We made it. We gave it power. We gave it our power of creation. See? You could say we've been
Yeah.
following the ego's advice and giving it. So we make the ego and then follow the ego's advice, follow the ego's agenda. Make me separate. Basically, make me separate. Make me believe. Make it
Like,
me believe that I'm separate. Look how good it is. It's good. It looks good. It's a good job.
yeah, you say that somewhere, like the desire to feel special or different or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Like as if eternity isn't enough. I want to be special.
At the same time, there isn't like a part of the whole. If we're the whole, if everything is the same and consciousness is one, then what is wanting to be special is just I don't know, whatever. I think getting confused in my own thoughts.
Yeah. Well, it's before consciousness. The thought of specialness comes before consciousness. That's why consciousness is made. Okay. So
But
it's like
nothing exists outside of consciousness, right? Because it can't.
that's right. That's right. No thing. No thing. Eternity is no thing. Things are held in time, space. So it's no thing, but it's not something that we perceive with the body senses. This world is perceived with the body sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not something we can perceive with the body sense. That's why it's nothing. It's no thing. It's not like we can conceive of it. But you can sense it. You can sense what it's like. You can allow the veiling you can feel these feelings that are veiling the true sense to have their play. Let them play out in your awareness, and then the reality is felt again. You start to feel more and more what reality is. Without seeing it, without needing to see it, you start feeling it more in your experience and through your experience.
Yeah, I had a few days of this experience where I managed to keep my attention on whatever was transpiring, whatever was happening, on just feeling it. And it's funny, there was Molly on here once and she said this phrase, feel it like a boss.
Feel it like a boss.
Yeah, that really stuck with me for some reason.
Awesome.
It's a good reminder, as soon as there is a temptation to follow an uncomfortable thought and to build on it, like
Yeah.
boom, feel that like a boss, just own
Like
it, own the feeling. You want to feel this, you want to feel that anxiety
Yeah.
or
It
whatever
helps knowing that you want it. It helps knowing that you want it because then you're like, oh, cool.
right. Hey, like it's like tasting different tastes or something.
Right. And you know you're birthing something awesome. That's the thing. That's what excites me. That's what just gets me all juiced up about having an uncomfortable feeling. Because I know that something else is being birthed and I don't know what it is. I'm just going to be surprised. I don't even want to say in it.
Well, sometimes there are like many uh uncomfortable feelings that occur, let's say within a day, so I don't have that feeling that something important is being birthed. At least I because I didn't have that experience. It's just one feeling passes into another one, and uncomfortable often passes into, turns into a comfortable one,
Hmm.
especially if you start feeling it like a boss.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And those uncomfortable feelings, they are birthing a different experience, changed experiences. See, that's why they're uncomfortable because, the ego wants to keep things the same in your mind. It's like the way the ego's program is like rote, repetitive, same thing, same thing, same thing. And when those uncomfortable feelings come up, if you resist it, then you're just asking for more of the same thing. But if you're feeling it like a boss, like you say, then you're opening it up for change. You're opening up for that new way of being, a new expression. You can say a new expression of consciousness.
Yeah. And I said
It's
another.
fun.
Sorry.
I said it's fun. Consciousness can just make you whatever consciousness wants to make you. Just let that be. You know.
Right. Well, there is no me,
Yep.
and I am the consciousness too,
Yep.
right?
That's right. That's right. And it's like from this level of perception, you have no idea what consciousness is going to do. You could say what yourself as consciousness is going to do, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. The
To
whole
be
life,
anything. It's like hide and
everything,
seek.
everything is like that. No idea what happens the next moment, and there is no next moment.
Yep. It's a moment unfolding. It's orchestrated by consciousness, which is you. But from the level of perception, you don't know. You don't know what you have in mind.
That's right. From the level of perception, I like the way you put.
Yep.
And then another thing I just wanted to chat about. Um, few days. No, when did that happen? Yeah, like about a week ago, I had an experience with it's a death of an animal.
Okay.
Uh, this older cat that lived in my house the last few years, and he was old and sick, and I really didn't want to euthanize him because I had that experience with a dog before, and I
Okay.
just didn't want to do it that way, where you consciously kill them, even
Uh-huh.
though everything is okay in this world of illusion. I just wanted to not do that. And
Yes. Okay.
so he actually did die in my house.
Okay.
And it was just such a strong experience to see that happen, because I saw him at one point, and then 2 hours I didn't look at him. I thought he was asleep, and then I
Uh-huh.
woke up to him at night, and I realized he's gone. And just
Okay.
she seen that transition from
Uh-huh.
life to death. And I buried him in the morning, and together with my boyfriend we did it. It was like uh it just makes you wonder about this, how this life is there one moment, that the next moment it's not,
That's how
right?
illusions
Asking,
are.
it's just, it was like, it is so strange, and it's so difficult not to feel it. And then I thought about the fear of death that I used to have when I was a kid. I was really, really terrified of death, of anything that had to do with death.
Okay.
And then that sort of, theme always seemed to be interesting afterwards. Even watching horror movies, they realized that all horrors, everything is based on that. It's based on fear of death.
Yeah.
Every fear is based on that.
Yep.
And then I remembered, I've been reading a lot about the tantrikas and the tantra teaching, and there are some sects in India in the past, maybe still now, but back then for sure, that practiced on the charnel ground, the place where the dead bodies are collected and burned.
Okay.
Just because that's like what was one of their things. They defied this fear of death,
Huh.
and that made me think of how that was kind of like an important thing to get somehow, to get over that fear, and to like because I think we're just programmed to be afraid.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's
Part of that
as
whole ego story, and
it's
you
as,
just like born and everybody is afraid of it, and nobody, if everybody was like these people that practiced, next to the dead bodies, then possibly nobody would have that experience of how it's a horrible, scary thing.
that's possible. Yeah. So the ego. So we gave the ego the power to make death appear real, and our fear of it keeps it appearing real. So there's a
So,
craving. There's a craving for death, and also fear of it at the same time.
mm-hmm.
So that's awesome when you have a strong experience where there's someone that like your dog, someone that that seems to have died. You get in touch with those feelings that are kind of serving as indications that you think he actually died. Like you think your
That's
dog actually died.
so
Like
hard to put it into words, but it was just such a strong experience,
yeah. Yeah.
because you literally see him die, you literally see it happen, you literally see all the things that happen to the body.
Yes, and at the same time, there's no death. It's a demonstration only of what you wanted to be true. It's demonstrating the idea that death is a reality. That's all. And it's being demonstrated through your body. See? It's being demonstrated through the body, that idea that death is real. If there wasn't the idea that death was real, it would be a celebration when a body passes like that. You have the perception of a body passing, woohoo! This idea that it's sad or anything like that, it comes off of that desire to feel separate. Because it's as if someone did die, and no one died.
Well, as soon as somebody is born, it's a death sentence.
You could say that's the ego's plan. Just because that's what we've always seen, that is not what's necessarily going to be your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Death is not necessarily going to be your experience. Just because you perceive it everywhere doesn't mean that it's gonna happen to you in your experience.
That is pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, I know. And see, all that's asked of you is to just be willing to consider that. Just be willing to consider that. What thoughts are you buying into that's kind of guaranteeing that you die right now? Is death a fact of life in your mind? Or do you assume that you're going to die one day? Do you just automatically assume that? These are beliefs that make death manifest. Death does not have to manifest.
And so it's interesting. Recently I saw, I like this one YouTube channel that has pretty radical videos. So they were talking about the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not from the spiritual point of view, but actually from the point of view of modern science. Like,
Yes.
what if death is not a normal thing? We're just used to think to it.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a disease, and we're gonna learn to cure it. And there's like research. You know, we used to think many things were normal, and then
Yep.
turned out they were not.
Yeah. Normal signs of aging.
Talked about that. Yeah.
Normal signs of aging is one of them. That's like a warm up for death. Start believing in normal signs of aging.
Right. Yeah, but basically that whole process of aging and dying could be described as a disease.
Yes. Yes.
Just a
I can
disease
feel
that,
that.
affects 100% of the population so far, as we know.
As far as we know, we don't know for sure. I mean, you know, the story of Jesus is that he ascended before everyone. I've heard other stories like that too about ascending, and it's like that is in a dream landscape, anything is possible. So if you laugh at the thought of ascending, you're not getting that it's a dream landscape.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having the perception of physically ascending, yes, is totally possible. It's not any more. It's not any more ludicrous than death.
Yeah, there are plenty of stories like that in history, not just about Jesus. Yeah, about
I know there's more.
all these yogis living forever and stuff like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep, I've heard of that too. Yep, it's just
Right.
that all like, oh, that's not for me though. I'm gonna die just like everyone I know.
And in religions that happens too. I believe Muhammad did something like that as well.
Yeah, wild, huh?
Yeah, interesting thoughts to entertain.
Yeah.
Fun.
By the way, Lori said hi to you.
Hi to Lori. It's awesome that she and Christine met. I saw it.
No, isn't that so exciting?
It's pretty incredible. I thought that I might see her too, but that was actually the time I was dealing with the cat death and getting ready to leave and on another trip, and so as usual, didn't have time.
Busy broad action. You got a little busy broad action going on.
Oh, all the time. I was recently in Japan and I rode the high-speed train, the Shinkansen, which I always wanted to do. And like, oh
Oh,
my God, exactly how I pictured it. There are things in life you don't know. I mean, you picture and then you go experience them, and they're not like you thought they would be.
oh,
The
I
Shinkansen
know.
like I thought, but now I'm saying my whole life is like a Shinkansen.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Well, even if things are going fast, you can always let go and let things slow down in your mind. You know that. You
Yeah,
you probably tune back into your breath often throughout the day. Is that right?
sometimes, yes. And then
Okay.
remember the toes and other body parts.
Okay, yeah, it's like it's kind of the saying is kind of like just remember to remember, even when things are going fast. Remember to remember that let that be your first priority.
And the clenching teeth. Sometimes I get that. I noticed.
Oh, that's great. That's a really powerful signal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to get this sense like I was grinding on a hamster wheel.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a powerful sense.
Yeah, that is powerful.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. Bob is back and he would like to get
Thank
on.
you. Thank you, Hope.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I love you.
I
Thanks.
love you. Thank you. Bob Shine. Where's your hand? There it is. I got a couple Bob Shines going here. One of them is in
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, why my computer froze up there, but I'm back. So,
Yeah, you are.
then a couple things. So basically, I had this 2-hour sobbing release, and I can see how I was disconnected from my feelings, which resulted in me craving, pot, alcohol, coffee, TV, all these things, because I wasn't feeling. I needed all these stimulants to be able to feel. And now that I've gotten back in touch with my feelings, I've kind of lost all my interest in all that. Now I'm just like back in myself and in my feelings. I just want to be quiet. I just want to meditate. I don't have any compulsion to go after any pleasures or distractions. But that's the thing. It's like that. It's there. The repression, the cutoff from feeling was there. How do I approach it? You're saying that I don't have to think about that. It's due to my childhood, my repression from my family. I don't even have to think about my childhood. That it even goes.
There is no childhood except you making it up and then identifying it as my childhood.
Yeah, but but then I've been going through this repression that happened through my childhood that I wasn't allowed to feel, and then I had all this.
So basically, the repression happened before that in the mind. It occurred. You could say it occurred before that or beneath it in the mind, and the expression of it with your parents was just a demonstration of that repression that already occurred in the mind.
And so how did that occur before my lifetime being born here or whatever?
Well, it's just taking a thought that you're separate as if that's a serious thought.
Yeah, but that's what I guess. So I had that thought, which resulted in me separating from myself and my feelings, being isolated and alienated.
No, you can't be separated from yourself. You just imagine yourself to be separated after you take that thought as true.
Yeah.
So then you can have a baby body and you can get parents to abuse you and shit like that. See, it didn't start with your parents as it seems.
So what do I need to focus on? What if it's not my past? What is the core? What is the essence?
Well, why don't you just look at what you seem to be focused on at the time? What are you aware of being focused on at the time? Whatever it is, don't make it true.
Okay, don't make it true.
Okay, say you're chilling out, maybe you're watching TV, maybe you're sitting around meditating, whatever. This thought occurs to you about you having a childhood.
Yeah.
Don't make it real. Just don't make it real. Let it occur to you. Okay, let's put it this way. If you find yourself making it real, as in believing in it, just be aware that you're having an experience of making it real. You're only having an experience of making it real.
So what is the reality that I need to focus on if it's not that?
Nothing. How about nothing?
Nothing. So
how about just recognizing what's untrue as such?
Which is
recognizing whatever comes up is untrue as such. That's how the truth gets revealed to you. So when something comes up about you having a childhood, that will just pass. It won't be so sticky. It's only sticky because you've been getting excited about it for decades. When that thought occurs to you, you get excited. You want it. You want to do something about it. Mental activity.
That's because now I'm able to feel what I've never been able to feel throughout my whole life.
Okay, great. Then you don't need that thought for anything. It's not necessary to feeling.
Any thought of my childhood. So now that I'm feeling, I can just feel and just keep feeling.
That's it. That's all there is, because there was no childhood. I mean, really, truly, there was no childhood. So if the feeling isn't going to be allowed to get as intense, because you're actually diffusing that feeling by making it into something that's justified by your past.
So now I'm just mentally masturbating about feelings. I'm getting caught in a mental miasma about it. I just need to just shut up and feel.
Well, you don't need it. You don't need to shut up because you can't make any noise. You're only awareness.
Hmm.
It's just that as awareness, you lose awareness of yourself as awareness. You lose awareness of yourself as awareness, and you become aware as yourself as someone who has a past. And as soon as you become aware of yourself that had a past, you're playing stories. People go around and around and playing these stories of healing and then needing more healing again. God, I thought I healed that. That's because you healed it as an individual self with a past. So that's only an apparent healing. It's not a real healing. You got some relief, but then it came back again.
So then
So
what's the ultimate healing? What's the ultimate freedom from that? Just being aware in the present.
awareness of who you are. So you're not identifying as an individual with a past. As long as you're identifying as an individual with a past, you're making more future. See,
It's more continuation of the past.
continuation. Yeah, it's like a timeline. So it's like okay, let's have some more manifestations then, since this guy's got a past.
So I just keep, hitting myself over the head with a hammer, complaining, "Oh, this happened to me," and I'm continuing to torture myself by dwelling on how I was tortured and denied as a child.
Well, it's simply not knowing who you are in relationship with that thought. You remember I shared before, the dream is basically consciousness relating with thought. So when you're relating with that thought, you're refusing to know who you are. You're refusing. The way you talk about it, it's like you're not even willing. There's not even an opening to see that that's not even you, that one with the past.
Hmm.
See? So it's like you're saying, I want this painful past. And then I want to be the hero of my dream and see myself as healing it, even though I can't really heal it that way.
Mm-hmm. So it's just knowing who I am, that I'm not that past person, that I'm who I am now, which is I am.
Yes, and the story about it is really nothing, but the feeling it brings up is your opportunity. So if you're paying attention to feelings like that, you don't give a shit what the story is. You do not care. Because the feeling is where the gift is at, not the story. The story can just pass on by. But
So,
go ahead.
so the feeling that I have now that I've resurrected my feeling is all that I have to focus on. The feeling that's been resurrected. I don't have to think about how my feelings were stifled and now they're being resurrected. That's just all that was then and this is now, and I don't have to dwell on any story or memory or childhood or anything. Here I am now feeling.
Yes, and that's really good practice, just getting the feeling. No matter what you're thinking, no matter who you're thinking you are, because while you're getting that feeling, you're going to come to realize that anyways. When you come to wisdom dialogues, you just kind of like get an advancement on that really fast.
So then I just have to be my true identity, know who I am, child of God with all the name and nature of God, and not bound and limited by the past memory, mortal being.
Yeah, well, what you're describing is what you already are. It's who and what you already are. So you can say you don't need to do anything, but stop doing stuff. Stop identifying with thoughts that come across.
So that's just it. I'm just thinking. If I just breathe and feel and allow my thoughts to just pass and don't get caught up in dwelling on my childhood or how my feelings.
Just don't do anything. Just be awareness.
Just be awareness.
Yeah, it's like all that talking. It's like trying to put a pinpoint on something, what you should do, this trajectory and something and stuff. And see, it's not really like that. It's like when you are aware of yourself as awareness, whatever it is that arises, it's like this play. It's just like this play. You can't do anything about the play. but you can get active with it and get excited about things you see in the play as if you're an individual in the play. That's all.
And
So you
that's
like give these thoughts power by getting excited about it and thinking it's about you.
hmm.
That's what makes you excited. That personal, and I don't mean excited like like that excitement, like, oh yeah, that sounds really fun to do. I mean excited like that's about me, like a feeling like that's about me.
So buying
Bobby,
into thinking that that's real, that
yeah.
that has any validity for me.
Yes, that's the thing. The past, it has no validity. It has no validity at all, except what you give it. And when you give it validity, you get the feeling effect as if that really happened.
Hmm.
That you could just let feeling effects play out in your awareness and get all of that compassion, but not keep on perpetuating the story at the same time.
Okay, so that helps me to become free.
You are free.
Yes,
It
yes.
tells you to stop pretending like you're in like you're in jail.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's just it. That's my feelings were in jail, and
Yeah.
I've released them out of my prison house, that the repression.
And that's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. So you look at the phrase too. This too shall pass. So anything that you perceive yourself in the surface you have done or been through and whatever, this too shall pass. You will have the perception again of not seeing, and that's also a blessing.
Right. Well, thank you very much for blessing me, and I do feel blessed and liberated by our dialogue.
Yay, I love you, Bob. Thank you for coming around. I appreciate you so much. Everyone know Bob Shine is one of the originals with Chitta. You don't hear from Chitta on here, but he listens. Along with Chitta, pretty much started Wisdom Dialogues up again. I had it at one time at a place called Kalani, but it seemed like people were not getting it. They're kind of like walking out, rolling their eyes and stuff. And then a little bit later, Bob and Chitta said, hey, we want you to come talk to us. And I did. And then it got bigger and bigger, and now it's pretty good size.
Right. This is just amazing to think
And
that.
lots of happy people. It's so wonderful.
Right. Yeah. I just feel so honored that I was the one to help you get the ball rolling. And it's like, so then you came to Michelle's and we were there. And then you came to David Anderson's where I was living. And then all of a sudden you sprung. Now you're going to do a webinar, and now it's books, and now it's websites, and Lord knows what it's going to evolve into next. It's just love, because love will find a way, and it's
Yeah.
found a way to reach the world. So thank you so much, and I'm just so happy and privileged to be a part of your work.
Oh, thank you, Bob. I appreciate you so much.
Okay, I appreciate you. I love you.
I love you. Aloha.
Okay, bye.
Yay, it's my lovely Bob Shine. How fun. We have Hawaii all the way over to the East Coast on today. This is so fun. I love it. That's pretty much every day, though, when Bob comes and then Lori. Probably more of them. Yeah, we're Ah. So the body sense, it's very convincing. That's what makes all of the illusions seem real, the body sense. The illusions come from it, and the feeling that's projected with it makes it seem like it's real. It's almost 11 p.m. Thanks for staying up with me. That seems so late to me. I'm so happy. Thank you. But it is late. Yeah, it seems late to me. A lot of the times I'm waking up around 2:30 or 3 though, so got that going. Yay, it's raining. It's hot and it's raining. So the body sense makes it seem as if illusions are really true, you know, because it'll feel like, oh, this is so real. That'll make it feel like it's real. And then as you deny the evidence, so to speak, deny the evidence being presented to you, which is basically a demonstration that that separation really happened, because you want to believe that it really happened, okay? But it didn't really happen. So you can deny the evidence, but get the feeling. Get the feeling. Let it gain an intensity. Let it go. It goes on like a roller coaster, up, down again. Let it play out in your body's energy field, and everything else will be worked out. Does it sound too simple to you? If it sounds too simple to you, that's because that's the advice of the ego. That's way too simple. Nothing's going to change like that. You may not see the change immediately. I shared earlier that I've seen things take like 5 years in my perception to make a shift. You know, who knows? There could be things that I perceive being a longer time, but it's only been about 5 years for me since the commitment was made to not find fault in the world, not find fault in the world. Okay. And since that doesn't mean that I need to have some certain perception about it, I can keep going. Well, it's not like, well, give me something to make me keep going. Give me something. The something that I'm getting is peace of mind in every moment. So it doesn't really matter to me what effects take place, how the illusion plays out. Because I know it's always going in my favor. Doesn't matter what it is, it's in my favor all the time. That's how I take it, and that's how it turns out to me. That's how it turns out for me. So Lori says, I'm up at all hours of the early morning now. Yeah, that occurs. You start having you start feeling this sense of oneness. You start feeling this sense of, oh my gosh, it's all me. It makes it a little bit difficult to sleep for a little while. Oh, thank you, Yulia. I'm so glad you love hearing that. Yay. So it makes it a little bit difficult to sleep for a little while because of this excitement about, whoa, who I am. This all powerful, you know. And I know Lori doesn't get hooked by this, but it's common for people. I could say I know Lori doesn't get hooked by this. Possibly she does, though. That's just what I know of Lori. So, you know, it's common for people to get hooked by this idea that I shouldn't be up all hours of the night. Like I shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to be tired. And, you know, like Lori's saying right now, yes, and I wake up to great seeings, clear seeings. Yes, because her mind isn't hindered. Her mind isn't hindered. She said, oh, no, there are no shoulds. Her mind isn't hindered by those shoulds. It's kind of the same thing where you have a family member who seems to have passed away. Their body seems to have died, right? And you thought that you needed their body to communicate with them. So when you think that you need their body to communicate that with them, then you can't communicate with them. See? So it's like when you're thinking that you need something from your body, like you need it to go to sleep or something like that, then it's like you can't get the communications from spirit. See? It's like that, and that's what I mean. Everything is a blessing, and it's a blessing because it's an opportunity to see clearly, which Lori is saying, clear seeings are occurring to her, and these clear seeings occur to the mind that's not distracted with worldly things. So the idea of whether or not you're sleeping enough would be one example of a worldly thing. That's what leaves you distracted. All that sense of energy and vitality, that comes from your source. That comes from your source, which is awareness, okay? So the more awareness that's allowed, the more vitality you will be able to perceive. I'm not saying the more vitality there will be, because there's always 100% vitality. It's just a perception that vitality is lacking, see? And that perception that vitality is lacking may be predicated on the idea that you didn't have enough sleep. Okay, but it's really meaningless. It's funny because I had the perception of starting my period today. That's really fun. And you know, the experience that I seem to normally have it since the past, I don't know how many years, is some minor cramping with it, minor cramping, and a feeling like I don't want to do much today. And I noticed today it was totally different, and I didn't notice it till the day was like halfway over, but I was like, wow, today there was apparently yoga, and then a period starting, and then all this other activity appeared to take place. Lots of harp playing, a harp lesson, recording a video. I actually recorded like 15 little videos that someone can put into one video for my book website. And also working on the book this morning, the next book, the Big Book of Hope, which is the next book. I've already been through 10% of it, and I love it. I'm super stoked with that. But anyways, just totally forgot about the idea of what my experience normally is when I start my period, on the day I start my period. And then later on in the day, it's like, hey, there wasn't any of that, not even any sign except a sign, the bleeding sign, not even any other sign. No cramps, no nothing at all. So it's like just being open to, no, this is not because of my period. And every month when I feel even minor cramps, they're not really like bothersome. I know some people experience them like really bothersome, but they're not real bothersome. I might experience a decline in energy and some cramps and stuff, but I would never justify, at least not in the past years, justify it by saying that's because of my period. It's not because of my period. It's all over for Lori. How fun. Yeah, that's one thing too. Could be all over anytime. I don't even know. But, what I'm getting at is that over the years, there's no just permitting the mind to say, okay, that's because of your period. Oh, obviously, yes, you're cramping because of your period. It would just be more like, I don't buy into that at all. There's no buying into that. Okay, there's awareness of this idea but that's just funny. Because any kind of cramping or anything, that's just a demonstration of guilty concepts. It does not have to do with the period. Upholding it as if it's because of the period makes it as if it's real and it's necessary to happen. And you can even get some sympathy for that. See? There's a motive in there. And maybe some time off from work that you couldn't take otherwise unless you felt like you needed to because of a body symptom. See? And that's all made up. Of course, you don't need a body symptom to take any time off work. You take any rest, okay? That's all being made up. If you're not taking rest, you're not taking rest by your own choice. By your own choice. See? Because you decided that you are too busy for rest. You are too busy for rest. See, the thought occurs to you that you are too busy for rest, and then that thought gets taken as true. So immediately you become aware of yourself as an individual and lose awareness of yourself as awareness. See, that's all. It's real simple. Yulia coming back for more. She's on it. Yulia.
I know what's happening. What's happening today? Speaking about periods and cramps and things like that, and I just felt like saying that, oh, it's been years since I had what's called a normal period. I have all sorts of irregularities, and it used to be pretty extreme. I had all these heavy bleedings anyway. It was very scary, but above all frustrating. And of course, I do remember that none of this is real, right?
Yes.
But so that's a manifestation of a guilty concept.
Yes, any pain. Any pain.
Well, there's no
Even minor
there's no
cramp.
there's no pain whatsoever, but there's tons of normal bleeding and a sense of frustration and not being normal.
Okay, so any frustration.
Right. Or discomfort, let's say, right?
Yeah, it's just fear. It's just fear playing out. That's all.
Or perception of being unhealthy, I guess, or abnormal or something.
Yes. Yep. It's just fear playing out. It's a fear-based concept playing out. So as the fear-based concept is playing out, that's your opportunity because it's playing out on a feeling. The feeling is the base, and then it's playing out on the feeling. So you can get the sense of it. You just get the sense of it that this is real. The sense that it's real. The sense doesn't make it real, but you believing in the sense and taking that sense to be real is what makes it real for you, just for temporary.
Yeah, it's been pretty heavy stuff for me. And interestingly, it also came and went. There were times when it totally disappeared and everything was fine. And I would just immediately forget about it. Or, feel a relief and then sometimes think, so that used to be like that. Now it's all gone. And then it returned. And it has been doing that for years and years.
Uh-huh.
So I wish I could.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to see what is the guilty concept or what is going.
Look at I wish. Start with that because it's always
Okay,
right.
I got it. Yeah, I remembered. I got it.
Start with the one that's up right now. I wish.
Oh God, yeah, I didn't go very far with this, did I?
You're fun. That's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
You just love comedy, that's all.
Right. I was like, oh wait, I can talk about this.
Yeah. It's good. Wisdom Dialogues is a good place to bring it up because if you bring it up other places, you might get people agreeing with you.
Of course. Of course.
So yay, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining. I love you. Yes.
Thank you, Hope. Love you.
Oh, thanks, Julia. So I'm here every Tuesday at 3 o'clock because it's so much fun and I appreciate everyone who comes. And it's such a joy to see your unfoldment, to have the perception of your unfoldment, which is really my unfoldment. That's just so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I appreciate it. So every Tuesday at 3, Hawaii time. So that's kind of late for you East Coasters. And I thank you so much for being with me. Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot, Lori and Phoebes. So this is sponsored by Miracle Botanicals, our essential oil line that's going, we're going big, guys. We're getting on Shopper Approved. We're going to get on Google Feeds. We got a new, really sturdy website, and we're super stoked to spread the essential oil love all over the world. MiracleBotanicals.com. That's where you could check it out. Check out the new website and the responsiveness of it. Get the feel of it. Also, there's so much information on there about essential oil. If you're into looking stuff up and finding out what kind of effects people have experienced when using essential oils, you can have a field day on there. Spend a really long time, get lost. I've heard about it before. People have told me stories. So that's miraclebotanicals.com. And then I will be available for book signings coming up soon. So if anyone would like me to come over and do some book signings and, maybe help me with booking some sessions or something like that for book signing, even wisdom dialogue, stuff like that. That sounds awesome. And that just came to me right now. That was so fun to say. And then if you'd like to join live Wisdom Dialogues, go to Facebook.com/groups/Wisdom Dialogues. Yay. And join that group. Join that group. You'll get invited. So let's see what we have. Phoebe finally got to smell blissful. I brought it with me to Florida. Yay, Phoebes. I could not find how to write tonight. Oh, you couldn't find out to write tonight. You know what? I'm not sure what to do about that. I see you on there now, though, so maybe you know now. It went through. Don't know if you can see it. Yes, I can see it. Looks good. Love you. Check your email. Oh, thank you. I love you, everyone. Yay. So until next time, remember to stay aware of yourself as awareness, okay? I'll see you next week. Or you'll see me next week, and I may or may not hear you. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.